Welcome to Coppertree Acres. My name is Penny. My husband's name is Ben. We are a small 4-acre farm in southern Arizona. We grow pecan trees, fruit trees, organic vegetables, free-range chickens, and a few small farm dogs. Today is a beautiful fall day. I'm going to be going over some of the things I do in our garden and how I fertilize and doing some harvesting for some farm boxes. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoy the content. If so, please hit that like button so the algorithm knows we exist. Hey, pretty girls. How's it going? How's it going, Marilyn? You growing those feathers back yet? You better grow them fast. It's cold. It's gonna be cold soon. You gotta stay warm. Molting at the wrong time of season. Look at you. But you know what? I think you are. Everything's kind of growing back on you. She will not let us catch her. She hates to be handled. And she fights the rooster like she's a rooster. She's a toughie. We call her Marilyn, and she's actually beautiful like Marilyn Monroe with beautiful blonde hair when she's not going through the itchy, scratchy molting phase. Hello, Billy. Billy's our big eater. She will chase down anything and get it before anybody else, pretty much. Hi, Billy. These are our older girls right here. And then these reds are our younger girls. Huh. Hey girls, how you doing? They are amazing producers, these reds. Amazing producers. Yep. How you girls doing? Yeah, need to put some more shavings down. You guys kick them out. Like constant. Constant kicking them out, huh? Yep. Hello. It's morning. I know. I'm gonna let you out after a while. Let you roam. So getting this in has not been without fail or failure at times. It has not been without diligence. And, you know, obviously we could have more diversity going, but we're kind of just trying out putting everything in rows. These are our first test. This is our test plot, kind of for the back farming plots that we're hoping to do. Here's the plot right after we got it finished and ready for planting in August. This is only, you know, about 2.5 months of growth from seed. You know, and some of it I did have to redo the seed because it just didn't germinate, or we got a ton of rain and it washed it out the first time. With dedication, hard work, putting in the time, you can make it happen. So I'm going to be doing some watering out here with the Tony's tea, organic fertilizer tea that I've been fermenting for the past 5 days, and I water it in and on each of the beds, and then I water the beds. So I'm going to be doing that, and I'm going to be doing some harvesting, and let's get to it. And this is our fertilizer tea that we are fermenting. This is the Flower Power blend because we're going to be using it on our roses to get them to water them one last time with it, feed them one last time before winter, and so that they bloom really well in spring. This is the best time. What I do is I put a couple cups of Tony's mix in a sock. Personally, this is how I do it. That's how we do it here anyway. And I have this 55-gallon drum we cut the top off of. We have a couple of these, and actually we've got more we can do. So next year when we start doing the trees again, I'll probably just do a bunch of these and have them prepared for watering the trees first of the season again. So put it in there, let it sit for about 5 days, and I stir it a couple times a day. If you only get to stir it once a day, that's fine. But I bring it up, and you know, you can always wear gloves doing this, and get it squeezed out. And you can add more water to this too. You can actually stretch it out farther after it's been in there. You can do this with worm castings. You can do this with anything you would typically do a tea or use as a fertilizer that's organic anyway. For the garden anyway, I take this and I just take the front off of it, and I just push it down in there and fill it up. And we have a pump we can use, but this is just easy. It's 2 gallons, put the lid back, put the top back on it, and we're good to go. I'm just doing about half a bed with 2 gallons, so it's about 4 gallons a bed of this mix. And I've always used it dry, and it works awesome. Tony's Magic Mix, good stuff on your garden. Best ways is to use a really good organic fertilizer, and then also, turning it into a tea is amazing. And it's a great way to stretch your fertilizer as far as you can, especially in this day and age with the price of things. Kind of nice. We've got some heads forming on the cabbage here. I believe this is Copenhagen. And we've got some Napa style cabbage. This is a different type of Napa, and I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's coming along pretty good. We've got some more head cabbage. The heads are starting to form on, and another Napa that's coming in. A lettuce, which I'm going to be doing right now. I'm going to do some harvesting of this. Got some farm boxes to fill. So if you watch very many gardening channels, you'll notice, or farming channels, everyone's talking about food scarcity and food security and all of that. And that shouldn't be taken lightly, and people aren't just talking. I mean, we're dealing with a time where inflation's going through the roof, and everything costs more, as you know, and groceries are not cheap anymore. And at least if you can grow some of your own food, it takes a bit of effort to learn how to garden properly, or at least to the fact that you can grow things a little easier than maybe you could if you had never tried before. Cutting down some of this overgrown arugula. Arugula takes off really fast, and we always overplant on it because we like it when it goes to seed eventually. We love the flowers, and we love the arugula. It's more of a bitter flavor, but we like it in salads. We love it on pizza. It's awesome with cheese. The bitter with the cheese kind of balances it out, so it's really good like over pizza. We also freeze it and use it in our blends, or we do greens blends every morning we call them greens blends, with a bunch of vegetables and some fruit, a portion of greens. So we put a little bit of bitter in there. Bitter is really good for the digestive system. Anything bitter is really good for the liver. And so I'm pulling off some bunches, some of it to freeze, and I'm going to pull off some of my fresher stuff that's a little less overgrown for a couple of the farm boxes people have requested. Even if you're just gardening in pots, container gardening, if you're gardening, raised bed gardening is one of the best ways to garden, especially in backyard. You don't have to do in-ground beds like this, or have a ton of space. You can take up grass space in your yard that was grass and put cardboard down, put a couple raised beds down, and put your garden in. Put some gardening in instead of wasting water on grass. I'm not saying grass isn't beneficial in some respects, of course. You have kids, you want a yard, I understand if you have that. But it's very imperative that everyone start growing or support your local farmers as best you can, because regenerative farming, where you're giving back to the land, which is what we're attempting to do here on this farm. These were our practice beds. Basically, we got them going just to practice on 30-inch beds and row planting to some effect, kind of crop planting, and then interplanting and things like that. I mean, they're not ideal, and I have plenty of mistakes I make. That's how I've learned. I've listened to a lot of amazing gardeners that have been very successful gardening, and there's plenty of them on YouTube and online that have blogs. One in Arizona here is Growing in Your Garden. Angela from Growing in Your Garden, she's amazing and been gardening for way longer than I could ever think of. She's a master gardener, which I am not. And you know, it's just something that if you're not doing it, you need to be considering learning to grow the things that you consume the most, if you can. If you can at all, grow the things that you use the most, as far as like easy crop vegetables like greens, salad. Oh, of course, we've got visitors in the garden now. Look, I'm right here. Hanging out, just eating my beets. Nice. Some red Oakley lettuce. So it fascinates me about gardening. It's so exciting, exhilarating, and rewarding to be able to pull and cut your own stuff from the ground that you grew. God's little seed that He created grew into one seed, grows into something like this. I just think that's amazing. I still marvel at it, and it's still just an amazing, amazing thing to me. And it's a beautiful thing, and it's extremely rewarding. I had a good friend who said, you know, you should grow a garden when I was training him. So I used to be a fitness trainer. He encouraged me to get started, and you know, he had had a small garden before, and he planted a few things each year, and he pretty much just kind of said, you should get started on a garden. I was like, yeah, you know, I think I will start a garden, yeah. And he's like, if you get stuff planted by October 1st, you'll have it in time for Thanksgiving. So it was about this time, many years ago now. Gosh, many years ago when I had my first garden. Nice beet. It's a nice beet right there. A little on the dirty side, but pretty good. So I got started then, and then I moved and kind of got away from gardening, and then came back to it about 4 years ago. And we had a decent sized garden. I wouldn't say it was anything massive, but it was good. And each season I would learn something new, and I would learn what didn't work and what worked, and you know, how to grow different things. And I've tried my hand at quite a few of pretty much any vegetable you can think of, I guess, not everything. So I've had so many failures, and that's why I say to get going on gardening now is a great time, because you're gonna have those failures and you're gonna feel a little defeated at times, and you don't want to allow that to like stop you, because and you have to have time to grow with your garden. So we have some beets. And it is a lot of work. I mean, to really manage it well and plan and for the right season and things like that, it is work. It is work. There's an initial investment, you know, in seeds, but they're so much less expensive than, you know, vegetables. That's a small turnip, but a nice little turnip. It's small. Just searching around for some of the bigger ones to pull, and leaving the smaller ones. The greens have gotten a bit tethered on these, and I don't want to leave them on the ground too long, but I kind of wanted them to get a little bit bigger. And in the winter time, root vegetables tend to get a little sweeter, so I was letting them kind of not necessarily overwinter, but some of them I want to see how they turn out. There's a nice turnip. That's a nice round pretty turnip. I'm hoping that by showing kind of what you can do in a short period of time. Some gardening inspiration. That's Pennie's 2 cents for today. Pennie's 2 cents in the garden for today. Got some nice little beets. And I'm gonna go get this stuff ready to put in the farm boxes, and I'll show you what that looks like. Order from a customer. We've got some dill and some green onions, various types of lettuce, beets, turnips, Napa cabbage, arugula, chard, rainbow chard, bok choy, some organic eggs from our girls, and this is our box ready to go. The eggs are underneath the veggies, so you can't see them. Check out the hooded garden thief behind me in these scenes. Too funny. Little beet. It's one of the smaller ones. We have some bigger ones over there, but I just think it's so pretty. Well, let me know if you're gardening, or if you're contemplating gardening, or if you're intimidated by gardening. Let me know in the comments, and you know, if there's anything holding you back. Time is a big one that I hear people say. But you make time for the things that are important. You make time for the things that matter, and not much that matters more than feeding your family, feeding yourself. And you know, there are multiple ways to get it done. Thanks for joining me. Our little farming adventure here, as we have the chicken eat half the food here. I don't know if you can see this, but